I just wanted to come on here and say, do not believe what is being told on the news. 86 casualties is not true. The actual count is estimated somewhere between 500 and 1,000 people. People were not informed except for 5 minutes before they had to evacuate. And this was via a cell phone message, an emergency alert. Our town has evacuation sirens for tsunami installed that are working, actively working, and they were not sounded.
It does appear like a bomb and fire went off. All of those buildings virtually are going to have to be rebuilt. It will be a new Lahaina in its own image, its own values. It's going to be billions of dollars. We are so coordinated with state, county, and federal support that it took less than a quarter of a day, 6 hours, to get the approval from the president to bring those resources in. This was, of course, a shock to see a hurricane and its winds. I think that we're seeing this for the first time in many different parts of the world. I've been contacted by several governors across the country to share their experiences in a time where global warming is combined with strengthening.
So let's just go over a few of the red flags that he said. Very coordinated. Bomb and fire went off. All we will need to rebuild is billions of dollars in its own likeness and own image with its own values. What does that even mean? And it's so coordinated with state, county, and federal support that within less than 6 hours they got approval from the president to bring resources, hurricane-type winds that just happened to be the same time as the bomb-like fire. Governors calling to share their experience. So we start the press conference out with bombs and explosions, then set up how we're going to get some smart cities in Hawaii, and then we end it with 2030 propaganda of global warming.
What they don't talk about is in January how they had in Maui a smart city conference to turn Maui into an entire smart island, changing everything to electric, renewables, solar panels, and pushing everybody into electric vehicles. 15-minute smart cities. So now what's also interesting is next month in September, Hawaii is hosting the Digital Government Summit utilizing AI to govern the island.
Tell me the last time that 3 natural fires started naturally all at the same time. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not buying this whole it was a hurricane or whatever the hell they're saying caused this. It's BS. Oh, and it's just pure coincidence too that the 3 areas affected by the fire are the most precious land in Hawaii that all the elites have been trying to get their hands on forever, and the locals will not sell out to them no matter how much money they've been offered. It's pure coincidence.
There was no fucking way that a hurricane missed Big Island, went to Maui, and didn't flood them, didn't give them, crazy, other things, but it caused fires. It caused fires in not only on Maui, but it caused fires in the most precious parts of real estate in Maui. Lahaina Front Street is worth billions. The Hawaiians that have been holding out and the Kanaka have been holding out for years, not wanting to sell their property in Lahaina due to these big $1 million companies. It is not a coincidence, I don't believe, how in the most precious parts of Maui, Kula, Lahaina, and Kihei, that the locals that are standing strong and do not want to give up Oprah Winfrey's fucking view up in Kula that the Hawaiians are holding out on, that the fire was going to, the Hawaiians and the Kanaka that was holding right there on Front Street.
What? John, get out of there! No, I've never seen it like this either. What is going on? What?
It was a firestorm. I know what. There was tornadoes of ash the size of charcoal from a barbecue, like being thrown by baseball players. I'm ducking behind walls. I had to kick in the door at Bubba Gump's to get out of it because I was getting pounded. Yeah. And then Bubba Gump started on fire, and I'm running down Front Street, and the wall, there's like 80 people, and the ocean was on fire. Firefighter told me because the first layer of ash causes the seal. And then the next layer of ash was all the embers. So the tide line was on fire and I had to jump through the water and come up through the fire. And 80 people, they were on the wall. Everybody started jumping in. Coast Guard was out there grabbing people. And I was like, no, I'm good. I was born in the water. I'm a Kai. And they're grabbing people, and I swam. I knew my phone was only good for like 15 seconds being submerged, then swam for like a half mile north. It was like nothing you've ever seen. This was bad that the people in their cars that were dead and from asphyxiation and the fire blew out the car, and you just saw the numbers of the dead are so wrong.
What's going on here, the reason why the fires were so out of control is because they were spraying us with aluminum and barium, putting particles into the air to act as an accelerant right before this happened. And so this video that I'm going to share with you was taken the day before this happened. And you can...
Anyone know what this white film that's covering the whole island? Like, am I the only one that sees this, or do you guys see something too? It's like this, like, yeah, like a white film in the air.
A white film in the air is
covering the entire island.
So somebody sent that to me, August 7th, 2023. She took this video. This is the day before all of this happened, and other people confirmed that they saw the same thing, and there was a white film in the sky, and that is the result of their geoengineering weather modification practices, where they're spraying the skies with these toxic chemicals and metal particulates and putting them into the sky, acting as a fire accelerant.
All right, so now let me go into what she wrote. I was there. Here's what really happened in Maui by Dr. Kathy J. Forti, Forti. So if she would like to come on my show, she has an invite. So I live in Maui and am okay. But I was there in Lahaina that morning, and the whole truth is yet to come out. Please read my personal story below. I want to thank all of you who have reached out to me from across the world after seeing pictures and videos of the devastating destruction that took place on Tuesday, August 8th, which destroyed the old historic town of Lahaina. It also rampaged through agricultural lands in Kula in the upcountry region of this beautiful valley island in the middle of the Pacific. The death toll will easily reach more than 100 once they locate all the bodies. Thousands are homeless, and so I ask that you give whatever you can to Hungry Homeless Heroes. Hungry Homeless Heroes, and I'll put the link in the description box. A group that is now making and distributing over 400 meals a day to feed those who have nothing left. My friend and I had to escape through the back road going all the way around the island as all traffic was blocked in the other direction. People were panicking and filled up the streets and blocked. And then people, unfortunately, if they didn't get out of their cars and run away, if they sat in their cars, they probably got roasted in those cars.
Many might not have known about this back route since GPS was down. These fires were indeed strange. The night before, both my friend and many others claimed to have had very restless sleep. I personally experienced a strange flooding wave of energy in my head, almost like seizure activity, which I have come to identify as dark energy coming in. This flooding energy continued on and off the next morning, more so when I was in Lahaina. This told me there was directed energy involved in what was occurring. This was not just a random act of Mother Nature. It reminded me of the strange fires in Paradise, California, a few years back, which swept through and wiped it off the map. Their only crime was getting in the way of a high-speed railway project slated to come through the town. A little bit of history to draw your own conclusions. Historic Lahaina is the key harbor seaport on the island. The Lanai ferry goes back and forth from there. All the commercial snorkeling and scuba diving firms set sail from there, and tourists flock there in daily droves. The problem with historic Lahaina was that it had a large old Hawaiian community that was in the way of the developers. Now it's like ground zero, declared a disaster area, and federal and states rules are probably going to be tossed aside. It's a toxic mess. They will undoubtedly blame it all on climate change and welcome in the developers to totally bulldoze and level it.
This is not the first time that the public officials have acknowledged that HAARP and weather control is not only possible, but has been and continues to be used as a, quote, super weapon, as evidenced by a statement made in 1997 by former U.S. Defense Secretary William Cohen, where Cohen said, "Others are engaging even in an echo type of terrorism, whereby they can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, volcanoes remotely through the use of electromagnetic waves." So there are plenty of ingenious minds out there that are working to find ways in which they can wreak terror upon other nations. It's real, and that's the reason that we have to intensify our efforts. Closed quote.